Okay, wait. I kind of like this. I'm like sitting on. Actually, this is kind of gross. That's okay. Another chunk of snow just dropped. I'm sitting on the part of the bleachers where people put their feet. But you know what? The whole bleacher is probably gross. So that's okay. But yeah, this is like bringing me back to when I used to play on play structures as a kid. I always loved the ones where there's like a little shop center and I could pretend to sell things and I'd get little things of like tan bark and I don't even know. But okay, I guess I can get into why this channel is called Mud Soup. I think it was when I was in preschool. It was like the back area where they would let all the kids loose during recess. And I just remember making mud soup. Like I remember there was this mud and all the kids would come together. I specifically actually remember having Tic Tacs and also Starbucks used to have these like little fruit mints. And I remember my mom really liked them and she'd give them to me and I'd bring them to school. So we'd like sprinkle some of those in. Obviously have mud, sticks, and we just like mix it up. We wouldn't eat it. I didn't eat it. I don't know about those other kids. But yeah, it was just such like inner child activity. I mean, it was child activity because we were children. But one of these days, I'm gonna be making mud soup again. Why did I bring that up? Oh, just because this. I actually also see. I'm really just shooting the shoot today. I could definitely make a whole video, multiple whole videos on affirmations and this idea of reprogramming. But the core of all those things is that the idea that the way we speak to ourselves has impact. Like, who's going to argue with that? I know people will sometimes frame affirmations as delusional, which is valid. I didn't do them for the longest time because I was like, it feels silly, feels a little stupid. And yeah, I just like, it just seems silly to me. But there was a point where I began doing it. And I mean, yeah, breaking news, the way we speak to ourselves, turns out it's important. And it actually has a lot of impact on our conscious actions. I know it's wild, guys. I know it's wild. But yeah, I wanted to specifically talk about the word hard, actually. And yeah, just my friend who got me into doing affirmations. I remember there was a time specifically where I was like, it just feels so hard all the time. And she was like, don't say that. Say it's challenging. Now, some people might think these mean the same thing, but to me, they don't. I think even for me, just like catching myself every time I say something is hard and reframe it to saying that's challenging is enough for me to think of them as different things. But when you frame something as hard, at least in my mind, right? You're kind of framing it as something that can't be overcome. You're framing it as an obstacle that's just always going to be there. Like, this is always going to be something that's really difficult for me to do. When you frame something as challenging, you're still acknowledging that it takes a lot of effort and that it's going to be a process. But there's this implied part of it that's saying, but it can be overcome. And it's just been really helpful for me every time I'm going through something challenging to call it that, because it takes away, first of all, it's empowering to me. I think it's empowering to be in a circumstance that is undesirable and be like, I don't have to be here forever. A lot of people don't want to be empowered, and that's just the truth. People want to say things are hard and have everyone around them tell them it's hard, and they just want to live under that narrative, but that will keep them where they're at. And it also just reinforces this idea that things are never going to get better. It's understandable why some people will get to this mindset, and it's a mindset I've been at, but what's the point of that? What's the point of telling yourself that things are never going to get better? You have a whole life to live, right? You're allowed and able to dream and to hope, and you deserve to have the life that you want. You deserve to live in a way that feels right, that resonates with you, and that doesn't make you miserable. I feel like, in simplest terms, you deserve to not be miserable. But the first step towards getting that life is letting yourself say that. I think worthiness is a huge part of it. A lot of us feel like we don't deserve things. And that has been a huge part of my affirmations and reprogramming. And some people don't like the phrasing reprogramming. I don't mind it because that's what it feels like I'm doing. But a lot of these deep set beliefs about our worth, or rather our lack thereof, come from our childhood. So this is stuff that we've been telling ourselves. Okay. But yeah, this is stuff that we have been telling ourselves for years. If you're like me, it was decades. Well, like almost a few decades, but for some people it's been like 50 years. This stuff is deep set, so much that these beliefs have become our truths. But alright, I'm gonna wrap this up because these planes are menaces. Alright. Yeah, the point is, there are these things that we've been telling ourselves for so long that we see them as givens. We see them as the reality of the world. We see them as these kind of like inherent truths about the world. But a lot of it isn't true. And just because everyone around you is saying something is true, and all the authority figures you've ever had throughout your life, and yeah, just because everyone's saying something is true, it's like, connect to your heart. Connect to your inner child. Does it feel good? That's all you need to know. And if it doesn't feel good, if it doesn't feel right, if it feels like you're sacrificing part of your well-being for something, that is all you need to know. That is all you need to know, that it's not true. Because if something is sitting with you in a way where you're sacrificing important parts of yourself, you're forced to shut off yourself to your heart, there's no way that can be what's right. And it's challenging. But you're allowed to be liberated. And you're allowed to want better and to tell yourself that you deserve better. But that is all for today. That is me and my stream of consciousness and a little bit of this and that, right? I could definitely flesh out more of these ideas at some point, but today just felt like chatting with this cute backdrop, some screaming kids, bunch of planes, and my wonderful friend. So, how do I end this? Bye-bye.